Hi everyone, and welcome to Lambert's lecture room, where he's always at the front of the room, you guessed it, lecturing. Okay, now let's look at his adult learners, who are so excited to be here that their eyes are glazed over? Wait, are they paying attention? Uh-oh, looks like these students aren't getting much out of passively sitting in class watching Lambert talk to the front board. Where's the engagement? This material might be applicable to Lambert students' lives, but they wouldn't know given Lambert's constant use of lecture. Okay, so how do we fix this? Well, there's an educational technique called cooperative learning that might be helpful in Lambert's lecture class. Now, most of you might have experienced or heard about this type of learning in the K-12 setting. There has been so much research studying the effectiveness of teachers and student learning regarding this strategy, but I'm really focused on adult learning, or andragogy. Now, cooperative learning is a type of collaborative learning, which is sometimes referred to as peer learning, active learning, and group work. However, cooperative learning is so much more. It's a student-centered approach where, and I quote, planning, teaching, and assessment revolve around the needs and abilities of the students. Teachers using this strategy play the role of the facilitator in learning. So basically, teachers are using these strategies to minimize the traditional teacher-centered approach. Just like the ones that Lambert is using. American adult educator Knowles, the person to actually adopt andragogy, stressed that adult learners need independence, self-direction, ownership of learning, relevant applicable contexts, and the sharing of life experiences as a source of knowledge. According to Tibbetts and Hector Mason, cooperative learning is one key instructional approach derived from past research and practice that has been shown to address the targeted needs of students. Okay, I get it. Enough about how great cooperative learning is. You're probably wondering, what is it actually? Cooperative learning involves small teams of individuals who explore a topic together, all the while ultimately gaining a more in-depth insight of material. The whole idea of making coursework meaningful and constructing understanding as a critical learning component requires active learning as opposed to the wah-wah passive learning that is reflected in our friend Lambert's class. Now, there are 5 major components of cooperative learning, which includes number 1, face-to-face interaction. Number 2, positive goal interdependence. Number 3, individual accountability. Number 4, group processing in an interpersonal small group. And number 5, social skills. In these small groups, adult learners are able to share their strengths, acknowledge and work on their weaknesses, and continue to develop interpersonal skills. So, in a typical cooperative learning lesson, the groups are a place where learners are actively participating, teachers learn and learners teach, members are respected and feel safe within the group, activities are challenging and are of interest to the learners. Hey, learners actually are learning from the challenges. Diversity is celebrated and is incorporated within the activity because past experience is part of the learning experience. Goals are clearly identified, resources are provided and are accessible, and finally, learners are invested in their own learning, group processing, and are held accountable as a group and as individuals. Each group member is assigned to a predetermined role and is responsible for his or her part. This feeds into the positive interdependence within the group for a task to be completed, as well as being held individually accountable. Okay, now the part we all hate, the problem. The problem with implementing cooperative learning strategies is that many programs and instructors vary in how they implement collaborative or cooperative practices. This oftentimes depends on a variety of factors, like instructor familiarity with the approach, program funding, student interests, and finally, motivation. Another problem is that at first, Lambert might feel a little uncomfortable letting the reins go a bit because he's so used to a teacher-centered approach. So it's not uncommon for teachers to feel like they need to lead the groups. But what he and other teachers who want to use this approach need to realize is that his goal has changed from the ultimate transmitter of knowledge to now the facilitator of knowledge. Monitoring, assisting, and evaluating is absolutely key. To do this effectively, Lambert needs to move among the groups to keep students actively engaged in their roles. Okay, now that that's over, the problem, let's talk about the benefits of cooperative learning. This type of teaching strategy has had so many powerful effects of student learning. In particular, many benefits are noted with low-achieving adult learners. It has also been linked to educational outcomes that are in the hidden curriculum. These outcomes include critical thinking, metacognition, and motivation. Using the types of approaches that allow students to work together, use their knowledge, and communicate actually promote and empower students to be lifelong, self-directed learners. Additionally, this strategy welcomes flexibility within its implementation, so instructors can use their knowledge about the population of adult learners to construct the groups. For example, Lambert might want to group 3 students together who teach grades 1 to 3, who also share a similar perspective. Or he could pair each student heterogeneously with students in different career fields to gain many different perspectives. So here, anything goes. Okay, well maybe not anything, because it takes much planning on Lambert's part to know what types of grouping will be best for his lesson and for the students in the class. But you get my gist. It gives Lambert and his students the flexibility to grow with each other and to have fun with learning. Now, let's do a wrap up. Beware, cooperative learning is more than just having students work in groups. It takes much planning and foresight for a group activity to be considered cooperative learning. This teaching and learning strategy has had many benefits on adult learning, but major changes may be required for some programs and instructors. We have moved into a knowledge value era that requires students to shift from learning isolated skills for a particular career to learning a variety of skills that allow them to seamlessly shift from one to another in our ever-changing job market. Instructors like Lambert, who really do have the best intentions and want to improve engagement of all adult learners, should ensure that course activities promote multiple pathways for learning and plenty of opportunities for group discussion and teamwork. It requires a willingness to participate, a clear vision on the instructor's part, and clear goals. You could really think of it as the gift of empowerment through a supportive environment for both Lambert and his adult learners. So, what do you think? I think Lambert and his students all look so happy and are ready for the future because they're using cooperative learning. Want to learn more about cooperative learning because you're so inspired by this video? Check out these resources and videos listed below.